I'm from California. My friend John is a park ranger. For safety reasons I won't mention the park or his real name. I'll call him John. This is what he told me. As a park ranger, Job had seen his fair share of strange things in the woods. He had come across everything from lost hikers to abandoned campsites to wild animals. But one day, while on patrol deep in the heart of the forest, he encountered something that he couldn't quite explain. It was a warm summer afternoon, and John was hiking along one of the park's less traveled trails. He had been walking for a few hours, enjoying the quiet solitude of the woods, when he heard a rustling in the bushes up ahead. He froze, listening intently, and then heard it again, a loud, crackling noise, like the sound of branches snapping. Curious, John slowly made his way towards the noise, keeping a hand on the handle of his trusty axe. As he got closer, he saw movement in the underbrush, and then large, shadowy figures stepped out into the open. At first, John thought it was a bear. But as he got a closer look, he realized that it was something far stranger. The creature was about the size of a large dog, with a shaggy, black coat and piercing yellow eyes. But its features were unlike anything Job had ever seen before. It had a long, pointed snout, sharp claws, and a bushy tail that flicked back and forth like a cat's. John stood frozen for a moment, unsure of what to do. The creature didn't seem aggressive, but he knew that wild animals could be unpredictable. Slowly, he raised his axe, ready to defend himself if necessary. But then something odd happened. The creature looked directly at John, and its eyes seemed to soften. It took a few steps forward, and then sat down on its haunches, as if waiting for John to approach. Cautiously, John took a few steps forward, still holding his axe at the ready. As he got closer, he saw that the creature was covered in a fine layer of shimmering fur, and its ears were pointed like a fox's. It looked up at him with a strange intelligence, as if trying to communicate something. For a few moments, John and the creature simply looked at each other in silence. Then, as suddenly as it had appeared, the creature turned and darted back into the underbrush, disappearing from sight. John stood there for a moment, trying to process what he had just seen. Had he really just encountered a mysterious, otherworldly creature deep in the woods? Or had his mind simply been playing tricks on him? He would never know for sure. But as he made his way back to the ranger station, he couldn't shake the feeling that he had stumbled upon something truly extraordinary. I was cooking with my auntie and she told me about her encounter with humanoid reptilians. She spoke in a low tone and faint voice. "Oh my dear, I do have a strange encounter that still gives me chills to this day. It happened to me many years ago when I was out shopping in the city. As I was walking down the street, I saw a group of people gathered around something, and as I got closer, I saw them staring in awe and fear at a humanoid reptilian creature. Its scales were dark and menacing, and its eyes were like those of a snake, cold and calculating. The creature was tall and imposing, and it moved with a grace that was both hypnotic and terrifying. I was frozen with fear, unsure of what to do, as the creature started to approach me. As it got closer, I could see that it was not alone. There were other humanoid reptilians with it, all just as fearsome and deadly looking as the first. They seemed to be communicating with each other in some unknown language, and their eyes were fixed on me. I don't know how, but I managed to find the strength to run away. I sprinted as fast as I could, my heart pounding in my chest, until I finally found a place to hide. I stayed there for what felt like hours, trembling with fear and trying to make sense of what I had just seen. After that day, I was never the same. I became obsessed with learning more about these humanoid reptilians and why they were here. I spent countless hours researching and reading about their history and their culture. Over time, I began to understand that the creature I had seen was not necessarily evil, just different. They had their own ways and customs, just like any other culture. And so, that encounter with the humanoid reptilians changed my life forever. It taught me to be open-minded and to appreciate the differences between us. It was a terrifying experience, but it also gave me a newfound appreciation for the wonders and mysteries of the world. Is there anyone with similar experiences? I'm from San Diego, California. My father was a fisherman. He loved the outdoors and water. One day he told me his encounter. This is what he told me. One day, my dad set out on his fishing boat early in the morning, hoping for a good catch. He had been out for a few hours when he saw something unusual in the water. At first, he thought it was a large log or piece of driftwood, but as he got closer, he realized it was something much stranger. The creature was about the size of a small car, with a long, slender body and a series of bumpy protrusions running down its back. Its skin was a mottled green and brown, and it had two large eyes that seemed to follow my dad's every move. He had never seen anything like it before, and he was both fascinated and a little bit scared. He cautiously approached the creature, but it didn't seem to be afraid of him. In fact, it almost seemed curious, as if it was studying him just as much as he was studying it. For several minutes, my dad and the creature watched each other in silence. Then, without warning, the creature suddenly dove beneath the surface of the water, disappearing from sight. My dad never saw the creature again, but the memory of that strange encounter stayed with him for the rest of his life. He often wondered what it was that he had seen that day, and whether there were other mysterious creatures lurking beneath the waves. As he cast his net into the sea, he found himself scanning the horizon for any sign of movement, but the water was calm and still, and there was nothing to be seen except for the occasional flock of seabirds circling overhead. For the next few hours, Dad fished in silence, lost in thought about the strange creature he had encountered. He thought about its smooth, green skin and the way its eyes seemed to gleam with intelligence. He wondered if there was a way to learn more about it, or if it was destined to remain a mystery forever. As the day began to draw to a close, Dad realized that he had caught more fish than he had in weeks. He smiled to himself, knowing that his encounter with the mysterious creature had somehow brought him good luck. As he steered his boat back to shore, he couldn't help but feel grateful for the strange and wondrous world that lay hidden beneath the surface of the ocean. He knew that there was still so much to discover, and he felt a sense of excitement and wonder that he hadn't felt in years. And who knows, maybe one day, he thought to himself, he would encounter that strange creature once again, and when he did, he would be ready to greet it with open arms, and to learn all that he could about the mysteries of the sea.